Hello, my name is Terry. This documentary will be covering our Pythian ghost hunt. The first thing I would like to discuss is the tunnel. We turned off the entrance light, which is a small overhead red light at the very beginning of the tunnel. The tunnel itself is approximately 400 feet in length. It's very narrow, and we went to the very end of it. We shut down most of our equipment except for the cameras, which we left running. All of the lighting we had turned off so that we wouldn't interfere with anything that would happen. We experienced a very bizarre event. It was a blue to purple light was seen manifesting in the tunnel, and it seemed to move back and forth from right to left and traveled the length of the tunnel. This happened for approximately 10 minutes until we decided to move closer toward it. When we continued to move toward it, we eventually discovered that apparently the light is caused by some sort of a strange refraction. At the very beginning of the tunnel, out of the field of view, overhead is a purple light. This purple light is reflecting off of a water heater, which is encased in a white thermal insulation. Apparently the reflecting light off of this is producing the light for this blue manifestation down inside this tunnel. There are some things that aren't easily explained, however. One is that we all saw it traversing the length of the tunnel. We also saw it moving from right to left. Both the light and the water heater and the insulation are all non-moving objects. We don't know how it could give the impression of being just 25 feet away from us, 400 feet down the tunnel, and then be seen moving hundreds of feet away. There's some sort of optical effect going on here, but I'm not sure about the mechanics of it and how to explain it. The other things that happened in the tunnel are not so easy to explain. While we were down inside, we were here banging on the pipes running the length of the tunnel. There was no one at the other end of the tunnel doing this. The other thing that happened in the tunnel were the sound of footsteps. The 5 of us were stationary at the very end of the tunnel. We could very clearly hear the sound of footsteps moving up and down the tunnel, yet there was no one in our party who was moving, and no one was at the other end of the tunnel. This is another thing that we cannot account for. It seems to be moving along the other side of the wall now.
Did you hear that?
I heard a pipe.
Yep,
Yes.
I heard a pipe.
It's getting closer.
I mean, it definitely moved from the right to the left.
Well, it just moved almost all the way to the left, didn't it?
Why don't you come back down here with us? Hear the pipe?
Yes, the pipe just knocked. Yeah. Was that you knocking the pipe? Can you do it again?
Footsteps.
Shh. Yes. I heard another footstep. In the next clip, I'll give you a brief view of the purple light emanating from above the tunnel. It's out of the field of view that was reflecting off of the thermal insulation. There are several things about this purple light that I don't have an understanding of. One is why it will not show up on any of the camera footage. I tried with full spectrum lighting, IR lighting, and no lighting at all. None of these situations for lighting would produce this blue light that all of us saw at the end of the tunnel. The light was extremely bright, and far brighter than you would expect for a weak light reflecting off of an object 400 feet away. We proceeded down into the cellar. If you listen carefully to the next clip, you'll hear a group of people talking, but among these voices is a scream. None of the people in our group are responsible for this scream. It's an unexplained voice. This area is notorious for EVPs. In the next clip, while I was discussing the new shadow detection device that we'd recently acquired, a female voice was captured. This is none of the members of our group, and I can't account for this voice. Are you over here? That's me with the laser setting it off.
That's how sensitive it is, another laser will set it off?
Yes. It's extremely sensitive. I know you can speak very clearly over here. One of the most common physical things that occurs at haunted locations is not what most people expect. When they report being touched, it's usually described as having walked through cobwebs and the need to sweep it aside, even though there's nothing there. This is a very common sensation that people experience at haunted sites.
What are you trying to get? I just wanted to posture.
But Aaron said he felt like his face was getting touched by spider webs.
Oh, that's okay, that's common.
That's very common.
I felt that when we were going down the tunnel too, but I turned my light on and I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
In the following video, when EVP voices are involved, I'll repeat them several times so you'll be able to better hear them. After descending the main stairway to the main floor, I passed by one of the owners. I told her that I was sorry I almost bumped into her. If you listen very carefully, immediately after I say this, there is a powerful, breathy, exhaling sound. I did not make this sound, and I know she did not. I can't account for this sound, but these exhaling sounds are very common at haunted locations. Oh, sorry. While down in the interrogation room, I'd set up the ghost box. We were asking a series of questions. One of the questions was, were you tortured down here? And through the ghost box, a voice replies, yeah.
Were you tortured down here? Oh. This a yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. This a yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
During investigations, I frequently bring a sealed box along, and I don't tell anyone what's inside. I did the same thing for this event, except this time I brought 2 boxes. In the first box, I knew what was inside, and I asked it if it knew what was inside the box. There was a long pause, and then a voice replies, I don't know. I had 2 thoughts about this. One is that it simply doesn't have the ability that some of the other spirits do of identifying what's inside a sealed box. Or it could be a residual EVP voice, And the "I don't know" may be a response to one of the interrogators that is simply being repeated. This is unknown how to differentiate between these two. So this will be an unknown as to whether this is an intelligent response or a residual EVP voice.
Was ist in der Box?
Can you tell me the contents of this box? I don't know. There's something I don't understand. Why would it say "I don't know"?
Well, we spoke it in English. I could understand if you were speaking it in maybe a...
Suppose "I don't know" is not a response to my question, but a response to his interrogators.
Oh,
A residual.
he's replaying it.
During the ghost box session, we asked the next question, are there any German soldiers here? There were 2 replies. The first one says, yeah. Then there's a long pause. And then there's a weak voice that says, could be.
Is there any German soldiers in here? Yeah? Yeah?
Continuing the ghost box questions, I asked what was inside the box. It managed to give a very weak but accurate answer. It said a knife. This is what I had inside. Technically, it's a letter opener, but a knife would also qualify as a correct answer. It's interesting that it was able to identify it when some of the others throughout the building were not able to do so. Apparently, not all of them possess this ability. I don't know why some do seem to be able to do this and others can't, but it's an interesting thing that we need to continue studying.
Do you see I'm holding a box in my hand? Yeah. The box is sealed. Can you tell me what's inside the box?
While in a different room in the cellar, I was just about to complete an EVP session and turn off the ghost box. As I was about to turn it off, a voice comes through it saying, "Will you help me?"
We'll try where there's one intelligent that speaks. It's in that room. Okay. This is the second time it's said 18.
Really?
We then went to the large room in the cellar and we conducted another EVP session with the ghost box. This time a female voice of a female child speaks up and it's asking, "Is it mine?" Apparently wants to know if this was a gift or if the possession inside belonged to it.
Do you know what's inside?
Is mine?
No. Do you know what's inside?
Is mine?
As I mentioned earlier, I brought 2 boxes to this investigation. One I had packed myself, and another I had someone pack for me so that absolutely no one, including myself, would know the contents of the box. The reason for this is I wanted to find out if whatever these things are they reading me psychically and figuring out what's inside and guessing what the contents are, or do they actually have the ability to see inside these boxes? I tried to restrict the knowledge to just myself so that no one else could answer these questions. And I succeeded in this because when it said a knife, I was the only one who knew what was inside. But with the second box, I didn't know what was inside the box that I was holding. And in the following clip, you'll hear it reply and say, a doll. This is correct. What had been packaged inside was a small doll. So it had correctly identified what was the contents of the box in a situation where absolutely no one present, including myself, knew what was inside that box. This is conclusive proof that whatever they are, they seem to have the ability to actually physically look inside these boxes. But as one of the others, spirits seem to identify that they did not have this ability, it may be that not all of them are capable of doing these things.
And I'm picking this box up.